Hey guys, Jay here, SmartHelping.com. We've got 3 new templates I added to the Smart Helping Plus program since the last video. Um, we did a simple top-down forecast, a SaaS bottom-up versus top-down model. This is interesting, and then a modification to the equipment rental model, where we got one-time purchases and sales of parts or vehicles, as well as adding 50 expense slots. So I'm going to go over each of these templates that I've added. Remember, SmartHelping Plus program, you basically pay $3.99 a month, and you get access to ongoing new templates that are added to this data file here. Alrighty, let me see here. So, SmartHelping Plus. We'll go over the equipment rental first. I think this is one of the cooler updates. So, um, the regular assumptions are the same with debt, the timing, purchases of machinery, utilization, and then the rent per day average. Here's what we added. So one-time sales, we've got purchases, units purchased, and this allows us to figure out the average cost of goods sold, the weighted average, which we apply in order to see proper gross margins, which is useful. And then we have units sold per month and the sale price per unit. I've done this for 2 sections, so you've got essentially 2 different types of things you could be selling and buying and selling here, each with their own calculations. So those are one-time sale logic, and that flows through to the monthly detail. You'll see this section here, right above gross revenue, where we can see how much units we've sold of each of the 2 different sections, the vehicle sales and the cost of goods sold when those sales happen. Now this cost of goods sold, non-cash item. So when we sell it, we have to recognize the cost, but the actual cash outflow for these purchase or these sales, when we actually purchase them, is going to flow right here in, let's see, I think I put it into equipment purchases and then, oh yeah, vehicle purchases here, and then parts and accessories here. And then what you'll do if you're doing financing, you can time up I've got 4 debt tranches, which is the base model has all of that. So you could time up your financing with the tranches of um, vehicle purchases here. And really it's more for an initial batch of purchases, maybe in the first couple years, and then selling those off and seeing what that looks like in combination with purchasing equipment here and renting that out over time. The model also, let's see, we added on the expense assumptions a bunch more slots for fixed costs. Before there was about 16 slots. Now there is 60, or let's see. Well, let's just go down here. I did 50. There's 66 slots, so before there was 16. All this still flows right through. Now, the income statement is a little different. We have inventory now, essentially, or the balance sheet, because we've got inventory of those items we're selling. The fixed assets are what we're renting out. Everything else is the same though. Income statement, these cost of goods sold are just non-cash, but we can see our gross profit, EBITDA, and net income. So that's that one. I really liked this update, or modification rather, not an update. Okay, next, the SaaS model we did here. So this client wanted to do bottom up and top down assumptions for a SaaS company, but basically it ended up boiling down to all of the revenue was exactly the same, which was based on you've got an initial group of customers. You can define that initial group of customers retention here, and then that will apply to them, and then figure out their revenue based on uh, active. And this was more of an enterprise system where you had businesses, and then each business had a certain amount of users. So here you can see the average users per business, and I've sanitized this information. So this is just arbitrary data input here that I made up. But you can see how much monthly recurring revenue you're getting from these users based on the average revenue per user per month of existing customers. And then this applies to your future added customers. Now the future added customers are based on, you've got ad spend, customer acquisition cost average, which does include organic and free. So you can modify the retention here or the customer acquisition to account for that expected average cost of customer acquisition when accounting for free and paid, organic and paid new customers. The average revenue per user over time. And then you can pick the retention schedule that each of these are customer bases will have. And there's 4 options here. The first 2 are linear, meaning that the same percentage reduces every month. So here, if my 1 month retention was 98%, that means I lost, out of 100 customers, I would lose 2 every month, and you can see this happening here all the way to 0. The other type is exponential, which means a percentage. So if I lost 11% of 100, I have 89, then I lose 11% of that, 79, 11% of that. So it gets smaller and smaller. This is means your biggest churn is at the beginning months of a given cohort, and then it gets less, and you churn less and less over time. So these patterns can be all configured, and it'll show you how much revenue you're getting based on the customers that are being added each month. So you can see new businesses, MMR here, MRR. Now where this varies between top down and bottom up is on the expenses. So for bottom up, you can define the annual hosting expense, and the initial here is based on a defined cost per user. And then this is then going to increase that by a certain amount each year. And then you can see what the cost per user is over time. And then you can define for wages, payroll expenses, and all that. You can define all these bottom costs here. So layer in, different team employees, their annual growth. You could do customer sort and account executive cost based on the amount of active users one customer rep can support, and the amount of new businesses a new AE can handle per month, and then their salaries, as well as other corporate overheads in that annual growth. And you can see all of that flowing here down to net operating income. The top-down version, again, the revenue all is the same. Now you could change the revenue if you changed the marketing spend or the CAC in one of these scenarios, then the added active businesses would change. You could also change the average revenue per user. So if you wanted to do that, you could, and make the, maybe make the bottom up different than the top down. But in this analysis, you're really just looking at top down versus bottom up expenses given the same revenue stream. So yeah, like I said, so the top down, you're just defining the percentage of revenue that all these different costs are here. So we've got 3 different cost of goods sold items, and then we've got sales, DevOps, customer success, R&D, G&A, just as a percentage revenue, and then the resulting net operating income. So we're not really figuring out how these numbers are derived. We're just saying what they were likely to be based on the percentage of total revenue. Our annual summary, we have, so this applies to both. Oh, there is a run rate multiple to define the exit value. And then if you did change the revenue assumptions for the bottom up versus top down, you can see the different total active businesses and total active users compared. And that's pretty much the model. Again, I think this is useful to test out existing SaaS businesses, and you want to try to model out their future expected performance. And you only have a little bit of data to go on, and you want to look at top-down versus bottom-up expenses, given various assumptions about the customer base. Okay, and the last one, this is very simple. We just have a 36-month model here where you can enter the revenue. You enter cost of goods sold at a percentage of that. You get your gross profit. Then you adjust your expenses and get a percentage of revenue that your expenses are. And then you have EBITDA and then your profit margin. We did 6 different charts here for revenue, cost of goods sold. And this basically just lets one put in various revenue items, and then based on cost of goods sold percentages, you can see what your potential profit would be. You might only use it for one period just to kind of do analysis, but you could also do it as a projection to show at what point you make a certain amount of EBITDA or what have you. Again, these assumptions are arbitrary. All right, and that's it for the SmartHelping Plus program. Those are the 3 new templates since the last time I did a video. There's a lot of cool stuff here. I think this is a great subscription if you're trying to learn modeling and just see what different things people are doing with the financial models on this site and how they're modifying them. Note, this is completely separate from all the financial models. So I've got, we're probably coming up on 200 unique templates here for different financial, different industries. And you can buy these templates separately or within bundles themselves. You can see all the bundles at the bottom right here, and you can buy everything I've ever built for $9.99, and that includes access to anything I ever build in the future and add to the site as a template, obviously excluding the SmartHelping Plus program. Okay, well, like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. We will be trying to do a new model this week. So last week was single tenant industrial real estate. Before that, we did an LBO model, just general, like putting in T12 historicals and projecting out future performance and see how that looks with various debt and equity assumptions. Did a biogas model, biomethane, this is renewable resources, payroll KPI, wind farm, another renewable resource business, and I'm looking at, or renewable energy. I'm looking at possibly another renewable energy business for this week to do. I really like the niche, and we've got a couple unique models in that space so far. I've also got hydroponics, which is like urban farming and or general recycling business. So we're going to do some more in that space. I think it's interesting to do. And remember, I do custom work as well. If you want to hire me for $195 an hour, and I can build whatever you want. We can talk through it, see exactly what the specs. Usually jobs are between 2 and 5 hours. Usually not more than 5, unless it's a long-term ongoing thing where we do a little bit of work over a long period of time. But let me know. Alrighty. Oh, one more thing I did want to mention. There are template discounts built into all the cart here. So if you buy 3 to 9 templates, you get 30% off the whole purchase. If you buy 10 to 19 templates, you're getting 40% off. And if you buy over 20, you get 50% off. And then the pre-built bundles are like 70 to 80% off if you just buy the whole bundles. Super Smart Bundles, the best value. And then if you do want custom work, I do offer one free $45 template for every 1 hour of billables that you pay for. Alrighty, and that is it. I'll see you on the next one.